Shy After Dark includes adult language and NSFW content. If you have uncle sensibilities, this podcast is not for you.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays, Jai listeners. Shebnam here. Today we're covering A Very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas. The film follows estranged friends Harold Lee and Kumar Patel as they reunite to hunt for a Christmas tree. Enjoy the show. See, I told you Sameem was just trying to start at 420.
What's up? Let's go.
Why are you smiling so hard, Sameem?
It's Harold and Kumar. It's Christmas Day. I'm just feeling really good.
You're in the festive mood.
I am.
I'm pretty sad that my Amazon, they didn't indulge my need for instant gratification, and they haven't delivered me my Christmas headbands. So I don't have my Christmas tree headband, which I literally was getting a headband with a whole bunch of Christmas trees sticking out of it. It would have been so perfect, but they did not do it. Nice Santa hat, Sameem.
Look at that. The boys on the pod are in the festive holiday spirit. We got our sweaters, we got our shirts, we got the trees. I got my Casey Musgraves. It just says Merry Christmas, y'all, with Casey Musgraves and some cacti on it and candy canes. The GFC god, he's got his sweater on that has nice on it, but then obviously I can change it to naughty. So obviously this rewatch that we're doing today is definitely going to be a naughty one. Yes, I'm looking good with the uncle hat.
Yeah, and your Christmas tree. Nice Christmas tree.
This is
it's tall.
For our one listener, for the audience out there, this is the Christmas tree I refer to that Haldi Huma and I decorated.
Nice.
You should have told Haldi Huma what you need is more orange ornaments.
Really? Because I went and got the red ones. I felt like
I mean because Haldi.
Oh.
I guess
it's Harold and Kumar, man. I'm not going to get all the jokes today. So.
Yeah.
You could take a package of Haldi and then put it on as an ornament for Haldi.
Okay, I'll do that. I actually do have some turmeric, so maybe I'll just sprinkle it all over my shirt. We have the evil eye right here.
Oh, nice.
We have San Diego Clippers.
Very cool.
And then we have season tickets.
Oh, so did you see LeBron's kid, Bronny?
No, he pussied out. He didn't show up.
I thought he did. He scored in the G League 30 points the other night.
He's only playing in LA, so he can't even get to San Diego.
Oh, they also got no team.
I know.
Hey, that's very Desi of him in that family. Desi family bubble. Stay there, stay with the family. Don't branch out. Don't go out and explore the world.
He stayed in the family business.
Yeah, he's in the family business as well. So the father's not disappointed. Hey, come join me. Take over my business and my basketball.
Such a fucking crazy recurring theme. Everything we talk about ends up being family business or the parents or this or that.
Or marriage.
And even the movie today that we're going to talk about has very direct Desi overtones.
Very, very family-oriented movie, right?
Oh, totally. Hey, if all of you Christmas listeners right now don't have anything to do and you have some 11 and under nieces and nephews, you guys should just put on Harold and Kumar
3D Christmas.
3D Christmas.
3D Christmas.
It's beginning to look a lot like truly an NSFW episode.
There's a lot of nudity. There's a lot of drugs.
PPs. There's PPs and boobies.
Yeah. There's male nudity. But I think it's fake. It's totally fake. But still, yeah. It's really politically incorrect.
Oh.
Outrageous.
Oh, it's super outrageous, yeah. There's assault scenes, straight up assault scenes. Sexual assault. And I'm like, wow, this is just a joke. This movie came out in 2011, right?
Oh, yeah.
Kal Penn is in the Obama administration in the Office of Public Liaison, and he took time off. They granted him the time off to film this movie.
It's a freaking wild tidbit.
This is art. He had to come make this film.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here right now if the White House did not grant Kal Penn leniency to film. So I want to thank Obama. Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
It's
Good one.
wild.
That was good.
Let me just do a quick recap. The first movie was Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. That one, Harold and Kumar, pre-career, they're stoners living in a New Jersey apartment together, complete stoners. Cal Penn's father wants him to go to med school. He's pushing back the whole time. There is an iconic scene. The dad says to Cal Penn's character, "Come on, Kumar." And, he's like, "Come on, Dad." And then the dad's like, "Daddy's not coming on anything." That's kind of how the entire movie goes. So, they go through a lot of shenanigans. The second movie is Harold and Kumar escape from Guantanamo Bay. So they get arrested for terrorism.
What bay?
Because they think Harold...
Guantanamo.
Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamo.
I knew I wasn't the only one that heard that wrong. He did say it wrong.
Dude, the second I said it, I was like, one of these guys are about to call me out. I feel like Shabnam's regretting picking this movie.
This is what happens when I kind of just go with your guys' recommendation and don't actually don't.
Yeah, who
know
recommended this?
Samim.
Okay, makes 100% sense. Okay, it wasn't me. It wasn't you. It was definitely Samim.
Guantanamo Bay. They escape from Guantanamo Bay because they think Harold is North Korean and they think Kumar is ISIS or Al Qaeda. It's like, that's so crazy. You think the one we're about to review is politically incorrect? The second one is out of control. And it ends with them landing in George Bush's ranch in Texas, and then they all smoke weed together.
That's wild.
And then he pardons them.
I feel like a nerd because I'm like, why do I have like 3.5 pages of notes on this freaking weird ass movie? Like, what did I just watch, and why did I treat it seriously?
Yes, we're like film critics, like taking notes. I'm like, do we really need to take notes on this? Do we really?
Hey, man, the listeners should know we do take this seriously. We don't just come here and give you incorrect information.
That's right.
Yeah, and also, I can't remember like all these shenanigans unless I write this down. This movie was wild.
Yeah. But now, before we get to the episode, what were you guys up to?
I don't know.
We're gonna go get a massage after this.
Okay.
A Christmas massage. Ooh.
Yeah, we're going to this spa near us, and we booked massages because
it's Christmas, so the only massage that could be open is an Asian massage parlor.
That's what we're doing, an Asian massage.
You should let us know how it is. We'll detail that on the paid feed for everyone. No, we will not.
We will.
Unsubscribe. Cool. What's Christmas time? Oh, okay. So I'm gonna be in Orlando for.
How was your cousin's wedding, bro?
Wait.
How was your cousin's wedding last week?
The release date of this is after
25.
Christmas? That's right after Christmas.
No, 25.
I'm gonna be. We're taking a
right
time
on
out,
Christmas,
right?
The 25th. Yeah.
Time out.
You don't know when Christmas is?
No. When is the release of this episode?
This is exactly on Christmas.
Like,
isn't
why do
Christmas
you
the
think
24th?
Over the top with the Christmas stuff.
That's why we're doing
confused.
All right, go for it. Samim, continue.
No, dude, I'm mad at you. You harshed my vibe.
Bro.
Harshed my vibe?
Yeah. That's what you just did to me.
You guys are Samim's like a little boy. Like, oh man. How much was in that Christmas tree, dude? Okay.
If I can't be a little boy on Christmas, when can I be a little boy?
That's true.
Like, what do you want me to do?
Yikes.
Especially since this is your Christmas childhood experience. This is as good as it's going to get because it didn't happen.
Yeah. This is my first solo Christmas tree ever in my life at 45 years old. So I decided to, treat myself and Sophie.
Nice.
For Sophie's, I will say this is 7.5 feet. Sophie's mom's tree, 9.5 feet. Can you believe that shit?
She had to one up you.
No, she got it first. I couldn't afford the 9.5 foot tree.
Well, Shabnam, did your family or you ever buy a tree, big or small?
I've never had a Christmas tree. I mean, obviously not with my family and not even solo, because my philosophy on Christmas thus far has been it's not my cultural or religious holiday. So I'm not going to do anything hard for it. If it requires time and effort, I'm not going to do it. I love Christmas movies. I love Christmas music. I love hot chocolate, candy, cookies, all of that. That doesn't take effort to eat and to watch, but anything that requires effort I haven't done. Now in the future, who knows?
You look at the good time I'm having. You
I
want
know,
it.
right?
You want in. You want
I'm
in.
I'm getting really jealous right now, actually, especially without my Christmas tree headband. I'm like extremely jealous. So
You look so bare. So what we're gonna do is Photoshop the shit in.
yeah.
You can have Santa's playground in the background. And so the family before I was born apparently was celebrating all sorts of things, even eating at McDonald's. And the moment I was born, they threw everything out. They're like, no, we're going halal and no Christmas tree, no nothing. I'm like, wait, when did this happen? When did you guys become born agains? And then fast forward to when I moved up to the Bay Area, and I moved in the apartment in San Francisco and had my roommate. We actually got a full tree of Charlie Brown's size. So I had that for 1 year. And then you're right, like just the effort of it all. We never did it again.
Right?
Which is like, it was nice 1 year and then we were done. Celebrate exactly what you were talking about. Like,
yeah.
But
we got to do enough effort for Ramadan and Eid.
But we still do. Yeah, exactly. And there's 2 Eids. So we got to do 2 of those.
Yeah.
What effort? Wait. What
and they're too close together.
What effort do you guys do for Eid?
That's because
dress up and you eat a lot.
Yeah, but you have to make food. If you're a girl, you have to make food. Maybe
I was the chosen one. I'm not a girl, so me and Imran, we lucked out. Male dominated.
I don't know,
society.
dude. I
seriously.
I have to do the heavy lifting of the biryani pot, so I'm labor.
Yeah.
During those moments. Yeah. I gotta be on guard.
Yeah, you're right.
Well,
I gotta do presents. I wrap them in theme, the same color, like all the presents have the same wrapping, and then I do different foods, and so it's a whole thing,
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Chef Monty, I didn't know all
that. I mean, you need to pick it up.
Yeah.
I've never gotten anything from you. Never.
Yeah, I know.
Messed up. Friends.
That's because one of my siblings didn't birth you, so.
Ew.
I feel like Sameem's done a SantaCon though. Have you done SantaCon?
I've never done SantaCon.
Have you? No. I did it in San Francisco. Yeah.
I don't know what kind of party boy did you think I was?
Every kind of con, like Comic-Con, Golden
I've
Girls
gone Comic-Con
every
once.
kind of con Imran's been to.
Yeah,
Imran's been to every con.
PodCon, Podcast Con.
Yeah.
I've been to plenty of PodCons. Yeah. SantaCon is wild.
Casey Musgraves Con.
Oh, if there was.
No, that's stalking. Casey Musgraves.
That's restraining.
He's done that.
That's restraining order level.
No. Stalking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did.
And I like how it's kind of like pun intended, because maybe you can just get a Casey Musgraves stocking for yourself.
Oh, okay. That went over my head. For sure.
That's a dad joke. Brian says I do too many of them.
Anyway.
Cool. So
all right.
How about I walk us through some bits and pieces of the story? So my favorite part is the intro. Okay, so he goes to the mall where the Santa is. And the mall Santa is actually his weed dealer. So they go to the parking lot. Weed dealer Santa opens up his trunk and there's all this Christmas themed weed. It's a winter wonder weed, Rudolph the Red-Eyed Reindeer, and it's a weed for life.
That's my favorite.
So Kumar purchases the weed and then he blows a smoke ring that turns into the wreath, and that's the intro to the movie.
Yeah, he has a nice thick beard. We see now there's a lot of pretty starry cameos here, and we have comedian Patton Oswalt is that Santa weed dealer. The strain that he did buy, because he said he was like a Diwali strain. He's like, this is the one I got during Diwali.
Yeah. Well, like you're saying cameos, then there was Bobby Lee the next morning in his cameo with Harold in his office.
Yeah, I think he plays like somewhat of his assistant or something like that.
Yeah.
So we get the introduction. We get the introduction of Kumar first, and then we hit the introduction of where they are in their lives, because the movie, I believe, takes place 6 to 8 years after Guantanamo Bay. So we see that they're living 2 separate lives. Kumar's hasn't changed, while Harold has grown up and has like a corporate job, high level position type of thing, and Bobby Lee being his assistant. But Bobby Lee is only in there for that beginning part of it.
Yeah, so Bobby Lee is helping Harold find an impressive present for his father-in-law, and he's like, you could give him this TV. And then Harold's like, okay, fine, whatever, I'm leaving work. So they like walk out, and there's all these anti-Wall Street protesters
Occupy
the
Wall
bottom
Street
of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is like Occupy Wall Street time, right?
Yeah, 2011.
And yeah, and so Bobby Lee's character is like, don't worry, I'll distract them. And he's like, hey guys, I got my Christmas bonus. And they start throwing eggs at him. They like totally egg the crap out of him. And it's super dramatic. He pretends like he's getting shot. And then Harold starts running to a car, which is his driver, right? That's who that is, right? That's also a famous actor too. His
Thomas
driver,
Lennon.
right?
Thomas Lennon from Reno 911.
Yeah. So he runs into his car, and then he's getting egged, and the car's getting egged, and people start peeing on the car. And then that guy, Thomas Lennon's character, goes like,
somebody,
huh?
No, keep going. We're laughing.
Thomas Lennon's character is like, the worst thing that's ever happened to me is somebody tinkled on my car, and then 1 second later, somebody throws their shit on the car and on the car
in the driver's side
next
window.
to Thomas Lennon.
These two opening scenes just get wild and wilder and wilder. And oh my God, you do really need to be high to watch this movie just from the opening scene itself.
It's awesome.
But I would not. I don't think I'd be able to follow it if I was high. But
yeah, there's a lot of detail that you need to consume to get the underlying themes of the movie.
I did pick up when the poop was thrown on the window, right? He's like, okay, poop, you see the poop. You cut back to Kumar, and he's like, oh, it smells like shit in here. I was like, you didn't notice that, but I saw, okay, here's the visual representation of the transition.
It's when he's walking into his apartment, because he goes into his apartment and he hasn't cleaned in like 3 months, and it smells like shit in there, and he lights up and he gets high. And then this girl walks in that he's been dating, Vanessa.
So his wife walks in the scene that Shubman was just describing. That's Vanessa. That's his wife. It seems like they're separated because at the end of the second movie, they get married. They get married because she's about to marry some George Bush's nephew or something like that. And then Harold and Kumar crash it, and they completely destroy the wedding because they have George Bush on their side. So George Bush walks in with them. So I guess they break up, and then in this movie, she walks in. So that's she's in the entire second movie. She's in the whole movie up and down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so she walks in and basically is like, she hasn't seen him in a while, but she comes to tell him that she's pregnant with his kid. And he kind of implies are you sure it's mine or whatever? And she's like, yeah, of course it's yours. And then he starts getting distracted because he's really high, because he sees in the background the kid from A Christmas Story. It's a scene where the kid's tongue is getting stuck to the pole, and she starts getting pissed. She's like, you can't even pay attention to me. What, do you have something better to do? And he's like, just give me 30 minutes to sober up. And she
storms out. Now, we also get to see his roommate as well. And his roommate is Amir from College Humor. Fun fact in the podcast world, Amir is the co-founder of The fun fact about Amir.
What the fuck?
You know what the funny thing is? I can't believe Sameem didn't pick up that. It just... Okay.
No, I picked it up. I was shell-shocked. What is this guy talking about?
Fun fact about Amir.
Hey, dig your own hole, bro.
Protect your holes. All right.
In the podcast world.
In the podcast world, he is the co-founder of Headgum Productions, or Headgum. Why is this hard? Headgum. Why is this difficult? Fun fact about Amir.
You just watched Harold and Kumar, so you have titties and head come on your head.
Okay.
So Harold gets home to a nice house with amazing Christmas decorations. It's clearly he's done well for himself in this last 8 years. So he walks in, and his wife is like, I'm ovulating. We need to have sex now to get pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
And then so they're on the stairs going at it. And then the doorbell rings, and it's her family coming to visit for Christmas. So her dad's at the door. Harold opens the door. She runs upstairs to put some clothes on. And her dad is Danny Trujillo, which is
Trejo. Danny
awesome.
Trejo.
Is that it? Trejo?
Ooh. Woof.
Say it again.
Danny Trejo.
No, say what you
Trujillo?
said. There's
I
only an
said-
E and an O, and you put like 4 different vowels in there.
I was trying to make
Guantanamo
it-
Bay is way harder.
I think we all get one jacked up word today. Okay. So
Danny Trey Poho.
We're talking about like a
Okay.
cluster. This is
Anyway.
just like the movie. This is this episode of this podcast.
Oh yeah,
is
we're trying to
gonna be a
replicate
cluster
the
F.
movie, yeah.
So yeah, so her whole family shows up. It's like obviously this stereotypical like
Latino
now
family.
are they Colombian? Yeah, but they're Colombian, right? Not Mexican. Because he talks about being from Medellin, and Medellin
they're
is
Colombian.
in yeah,
So
Colombia.
Maria, Harold's wife Maria, is from the first movie. And in the first
Oh.
movie, Harold and Kumar live together and she's on the same floor. So Harold and Kumar, every time they go up and down the elevator, she's in the elevator. And finally, one day, randomly, Harold just asks her out. And then she says yes. And then they get together and then they get married. They like run off to Amsterdam or something
Oh, interesting.
to smoke weed.
Now, wasn't that the second movie?
Wild.
The Amsterdam was the second movie, or was that a short?
Yeah. So then they start in Amsterdam in the second movie. Like it starts
for
in Amsterdam
Guantanamo. Okay.
with Harold. No. So the second movie starts in Amsterdam from the first movie, and they end up in Guantanamo Bay in the second movie, and then they break out.
Okay. That I thought there was an Amsterdam
yeah.
movie, but it's actually just
Yeah,
a
there's a
layover.
whole connection from the first movie all the way to now. It's like very chronological. So
Wow.
it actually is quite deep.
Probably the only
It
thing that
actually is
makes
quite
sense
detailed,
in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
storyline
The
actually
timeline.
makes the most sense out of anything. Yeah, the
They should
timeline.
do another one. I would totally
No,
watch it.
I don't know, man. How are you gonna?
Um,
No, man. No. Well, there's that scene.
Okay.
Okay, like we're seeing stereotypes, tropes, all sorts of things
Mhm.
that we would consider the not good. NSFW, you shouldn't do. It's not politically correct,
Yeah.
as we were mentioning in the beginning of the episode. All that is still being stacked in there. So, like Danny Trejo gave the camera to Harold. He's like, "Hey, take a
Yeah.
picture of us. You people are good at taking pictures," and just saying that agents love to
I
take
know.
pictures.
No, he was like, "You people are really good with these things." That's
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't even
That's
say
what he
pictures.
electronic things.
Yeah, it's like if you could just think of the most ridiculous stereotypes for a Colombian family, and there's like a guy in the middle, and he's huge, and he has one leg, and he has like a crutch, and Harold's like, "Oh, I didn't know Theo got out of prison," and then Danny Trejo's like,
Yeah.
"That's one way to put it," because he broke out.
Yeah. Continue, Sabrina.
So yeah, so then turns out Maria's dad brought this fir Christmas tree that he's been growing for 8 years for them to have in the house. And Harold makes some passing comment about how our Christmas tree is really important. And then like Maria and her dad totally freak out and they start telling the story of how he always wanted a Christmas tree in Medellin, Colombia, and then he never had one there. And then his mom brought him to America and he was supposed to have a Christmas tree, but right before Christmas when she was going to come home and get a tree with him, she gets attacked by Korean gangsters and they kill her and they stab her to death. Yeah.
And then they show it. They show the scene, and these Korean gangsters are so over the top gangstery,
Yeah.
and they like slit her throat. Like,
Yeah, it's so
ridiculous.
crazy. But apparently they don't have ornaments because one of the cousins forgot the ornaments. And so this is where Harold's like, I'm going to impress my father-in-law. And he's like, I'll go get the ornaments. You guys spend time together and go to midnight mass. And that's sort of how the next shenanigans ensue. My only other note on the little scene with Kumar driving with his white friend, what's his name?
Amir.
Queen Latifah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Before-
so that's actually pretty relevant in the movie when they're in the car. When Kumar's talking to his roommate's talking to somebody on the internet, and he's like, "Hey, this girl wants me to come over and take her virginity." So that's like part of the movie after the shenanigans start that Shubnam's about to describe.
Yeah, so that's his roommate's goal is to like go to this party and sleep with this girl and take her virginity because whatever. So Kumar is like, okay, cool. But they're driving over to Harold's house to drop off this mysterious package that Kumar got at his house for Harold. So he goes to Harold's house, he drops off the package, and he slips on some black ice and hits his back on the ground. And Harold kind of hears it. Harold comes out, lets him in, and they open the package together, which is this giant wooden jewelry box with like a red padded inside. And it has like a giant, the biggest, like the super giant blunt in there.
Fattest joint you've ever seen in your entire life,
Yeah.
man.
So Kumar lights it up and Harold says, there's no smoking in this house. And they like argue about how that's a dumb rule. So Harold grabs a big joint and throws it out the window, and it like boomerangs back through the other window and gets stuck in the fir tree that his father-in-law took 8 years to grow, and lights the tree on fire. And apparently Harold doesn't have a freaking fire extinguisher in his house. So they start like blowing at it, and they start like waving a blanket in front of it and throwing pillows at it. And obviously the whole tree burns and then threw it outside. So now he's screwed because his father-in-law grew this tree and he freaking burnt the whole thing.
Now, remember, this movie is made for 3D also. So you see random stuff thrown at the screen, computer graphically, obviously, but like the tree when it goes out the windows should be in your face if you're wearing 3D glasses.
It's funny because when Shubnam said that Bobby Lee was helping Harold pick out a gift for his father-in-law, Bobby Lee's like, what about this sharp 52-inch 3D TV? And Harold is like,
yeah,
dude, 3D TVs are going out. And they're making the movie in 3D.
Yeah.
And he was totally right. There is no fucking 3D anymore.
Yeah.
And right after that, Bobby Lee looks at the camera, breaking the fourth wall, putting his thumbs up in the screen itself. So it was supposed to be like a 3D.
He's like, who are you looking at?
So you could say there's a bunch of 3D tropes in here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The family was still like ready to leave when they were watching TV. There was a commercial for WaffleBot. WaffleBot also plays a character in this movie. It's a robot that makes waffles for you, and it like has a personality too.
Shout out WaffleBot. Everybody remember WaffleBot.
Yeah. Okay, so Harold gets his assistant driver named Todd to find a 12-foot fir tree from another lot so that he can buy it. Todd actually finds it. He comes over with his daughter because he's trying to hang out with his daughter so his daughter doesn't end up on the pole, so to say, as he says. So they go to pick it up, but Kumar is trying to be helpful, goes and finds a tree first, and he offers a higher price to these super like stereotypical thug rapper guys that are selling the tree, and they like give him the tree, and then he
these rapper guys, these gangster guys that we talk about, we had to put some respect in one of their names. At least one of them is RZA from Wu-Tang Clan. He plays one of the guys there.
Yeah,
the other one's a famous actor as well. I've seen it. Stuff, but
I'll give him Devon McDonald.
Devon McDonald, shout out. Then Harold shows up and they switch. He's like, can I play the gangster rapper with the grill? And he's like, okay. And then they switch personas. So they're totally faking it. And I think it's because, like we've been saying, there's so many tropes in this movie. They didn't want to just come in with some fucking black tropes. So they had to like make it that they were like normal people playing black thugs who have a Christmas tree lot. So then he gets up in Harold's face. He's like, "No, you can't fucking have the tea." And his grill like goes flying out. It's so fucking ridiculous.
There is that. They're doing like the good cop, bad cop.
So then when Harold shows up, there's no tree. So he realizes that someone just bought the tree he purchased, and he starts speeding off after them. And I don't think he knows it's Kumar at this point. So Kumar is like driving with Adrian, his roommate, and Adrian's like, we got to go to this party with this like virgin girl, whatever. And he's like not watching the road, and he runs into those like big orange like pole things, and the car flips over and it lands upside down on the tree. And then they get out of the car without a scratch on them, and they see that Harold is coming up behind them with Todd, and then they like start arguing and they confront each other, and Harold's like, why'd you buy my tree? And then he's just like, I was trying to be helpful, you could still use the tree. And then the car blows up in flames and the tree gets burned. So he burned 2 Christmas trees in like the last few hours, basically.
That's what these motherfuckers do. They just ruin shit.
They just like to burn trees.
Yeah, they're all burning trees and weeds.
So then like Kumar's like, okay, whatever, I need to get a load off. He sits in Todd's car because they all decide when they're talking that they're going to go all together to this virgin girls party, because in her video note to Adrian on his flip phone, you could see that she has a nice fir Christmas tree in the back. So they're like, we'll take you to that party if you convince her to give us
They
a
want to
treat.
jack her tree. They want her tree, and one guy wants her virginity.
Yes. And then Adrian lies to them and says that she said, yeah, well, you can have the tree, but he didn't even call her. He just pretended. So they're like, okay. So Kumar gets in Todd's car and he closes the door for a second. He's trying to have a minute and he starts smoking inside the closed car. And then Todd comes up and he's
the
like,
baby gets high.
yeah.
Everyone,
Todd
the
comes
baby
up. He's
gets
like,
high.
my baby's in the car. And then he's like, what? And basically the baby gets high.
That's what they do. They get people high.
Yeah.
Well, the phone that Kumar is using is a BlackBerry, so he's texting via BlackBerry keyboard. And then Adrian, his phone that he was using was an old Nokia flip phone. So we're talking about the technology of that time frame was pre-iPhone, or like on the cusp of iPhone coming out, or maybe iPhone just came out.
iPhone came out in 2008. It was probably. But I don't know in 2011 how popular.
I guess maybe they didn't have. We're in that era
maybe.
of the transitioning over to.
Yeah, I don't think Apple would put their products in this movie. You're totally right.
They didn't want to. They're
like,
probably
no,
trying
fuck
to.
this.
Yeah, they're probably trying to market to like the Harold types in real life rather than.
Not these
The baby starts crying because the baby's like high and has the munchies and God knows what else. And so then Kumar starts singing
what
Wu-Tang song.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that connection. Boom. Because we saw RZA selling the tree, and so he was rapping Wu-Tang. So
yeah, and then the baby actually quiets down, and the baby loves the rap. Apparently, the baby's all about this.
He's all about Wu-Tang.
Getting stoner
and then
life.
Todd, the dad's like, great, now my baby's gonna have the munchies, and then she's like, I have the munchies. But then he says it in the car.
Yeah. So anyway, so then they get to the party, okay? And then Harold and Kumar basically meet the brother of the virgin girl, right? And the virgin girl also comes in. Harold, no. Amir, no. Okay, hold on.
Wow. Okay, Ross
no,
Terry.
No, Toner Terry.
Tamim, no.
Toner Terry.
Imran, no. Brian, no.
How did
Adrian? So Adrian rushes the girl up the stairs to her room. To
actually no. The girl rushes up Adrian. The girl's like, "What's up?" Come upstairs right away, and he's like, "Okay." And then and then there's a scene where when they walk in, there's a group of like 4 guys, and they're looking at Adrian, and they're like, "Yeah, try it, bro." Like just basically like kind of warning him, and he's like, try what?" Because there's like a
there's like a reason why no one slept with this girl.
You know what? There's a big twist coming.
Coming up the elevator, the joke where Adrian was telling Kumar about like when he was faking everybody's occupation. He was like, I told her I was a celebrity's acting teacher, and I told her that you were working in the White House, which he technically was working. And he's like, yeah, that's a great lie. That's a great joke. So even though he was currently in the White House, so that was written in there. So if you didn't notice that, now you did.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. Okay, so while Adrian is upstairs, Kumar and Harold, they end up talking to the virgin girl's brother, who's like this nerdy ass little kid, but he thinks he's like a big deal. And that kid's like, you guys suck, whatever. And he challenges them to beer pong. And does he challenge them to beer pong to win something?
So,
or just because
Harold was like, we're getting the tree. We're just going to take this tree.
Yeah, so they agree to start the game. In the meantime, Todd is like looking for a place to change his baby's diaper because I guess the baby had the munchies, ate, and then pooped in the diaper. And so in one room he goes into, people are like having sex and they won't stop for him to change his baby's diaper. Then he goes in another room and these people are doing cocaine and they like sneeze and blow the cocaine all over him and his baby. And then his baby's rubbing her teeth and she's like basically getting high on cocaine too.
Okay, so this is where I just really felt uncomfortable with the blow on the kid. The munchies were like, you're getting up there a little bit. even though it's all CGI and it's all probably just sugar or whatever, it's not like actual, it's
Yeah.
all props. But the fact that you're
Yeah.
like displaying that, I was like, God, this is getting to me. Harold and Kumar was about the weed and munchies and that comedy ensuing of like what they hallucinate with the weed and having a good time that way.
I think it's to show a difference. They're not partaking. They never partake in any other drugs than weed. They don't even really drink. So what happens after? Like the kid ends up losing, they get to take the tree, but then the kid walks up with 2 drinks to give to them, and then he like drugs them, right? But I think it's to show like the difference between Harold and Kumar are meant to be not the antagonists, they're the protagonists. So they're meant to be the good guys, even though they're
Yeah.
such like shitheads. Like
Yeah.
particularly Kumar, he's like a complete fucking shithead. But I think it's
Yeah.
to show a distinction, because if they don't make the other people worse, in the first 2 movies, everybody they come across is super unsavory. So there's all kinds of tits and ass and drugs in the other movies too, but it's not them doing it. So like Neil Patrick Harris is in the first movie and the second movie. In the first
And this
movie,
movie, yeah.
and this movie, he goes to a
Yeah.
whorehouse. They show all kinds of titties, and then he's doing a bunch of mushrooms in the first movie. But Harold and Kumar don't. And
Interesting.
they're in the car together. It's not like it's a separate scene.
Yeah.
That's-
So that all the while, Adrian's up in the Virgin Girl's room and he's starting to like hook up with her. And, you know, she's like forcing the issue and it's not working. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to get more specific about it.
So
But
then it's not working because he looks over at the dresser, and the dresser has a picture of a world famous mobster killer boss. And he's like, "Who's that?" And she's like, "That's my dad." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit!" And then he's like, "I'm going soft." And she's like, "Why
Yeah.
are you going soft?" And he's like, "I'm not going soft. I'm not going soft. But is that your dad?" And like they're having
Yeah.
a conversation while
Yeah.
she's like trying to like stick it in.
Yeah.
Happy Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah. And so he basically realizes the reason why no one slept with her is because her dad's a Ukrainian mob boss and will like kill anybody who gets with her. So they run downstairs and she's like pissed that he hasn't hooked up with her. And she's like, you know, yelling about it. And then she wants someone to like,
Take her
you know,
beat.
take her virginity. Yeah. So she looks at Harold and Kumar, and then Kumar's like, how about me? And she's like, no, I don't sleep with black guys. And then she sees.
I was waiting for that. So
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And then she sees Harold and she's like, okay, you'll do. But Harold is married. And so he's like, I don't want to. And she's like trying to like take off his pants. And then her dad walks in and her dad's like, what the hell's going on? And then she tries to like play all innocent and stuff. And then the guys are like trying to defend themselves. And then her dad's like, you got my daughter drunk. And then Todd runs out with the baby and yells, party's over because my baby's fucked on cocaine. And then all of this reminds me of Welcome to Chippendales.
Yeah.
You gave my wife cocaine? I was like, oh my God, what is going on in the last few days?
I know.
Yeah.
Yesterday we're talking about you gave my wife cocaine, and now here comes Todd with his baby all coked out, like so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then like Kumar's behind the girl, and then the girl is trying to like take off Harold's pants from the front. So it looks like, sorry, I don't know how else to say it. It looks like a tag team.
Yeah.
And that's why then the mob boss is like, kill both these motherfuckers. And then he has 2 henchmen that go and try to get them.
Yeah. So chaos ensues and there's like a gun battle. And Adrian says to Todd, come with me. I'll save your life. And they run into the closet.
Come
with
with
the
me
baby.
if you want to live. He says, come with me if you want to live.
Yeah.
And that's an Arnold Schwarzenegger line. Come with me if you want to leave.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So he says that they run into the closet, they lock the door. So they're in the closet. And Harold and Kumar somehow manage to escape with this raining powder of cocaine
white powder
around them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the large bag of cocaine gets shot in this process. So they run out and they're high because they were drugged by this brother of the virgin girl. He drugged their drink. And so they're high and they're hallucinating. They think they're like in claymation now.
Yeah. So the claymation thing, it happens in every movie. So in the first movie, Harold gets high and he's in love with Maria. So then there's like this whole fantasy scene of how he gets with Maria. In the second movie, Kumar and Vanessa get high, his girlfriend, and then they have a threesome with a huge bag of weed that looks like a person. Like it's a bag of weed with like arms and legs. it's a ridiculous scene. It's not graphic. It's like
Yeah.
completely goofy. And then there's also like a animated scene. So there's like claymation, because these motherfuckers are getting high all the time. So
Yeah. So in this one, he opens his pants and he has this long
His
claymation
pee-pee.
dick, basically. Yeah. And it's like, that was weird. And then this claymation snowman starts chasing after them and they have to like run all around the city to get away from them. And we see that in real life, actually. They're like at this park bench and like pinching this chubby kid's cheeks. And then they go and they're like hugging a tree and they kind of like come to because their friend Goldstein finds them.
Goldstein,
So yeah,
he's
so
from the first movie.
yeah, and Goldstein is like, let's go to White Castle and get something to eat and sober up. So I'm assuming that's from the White Castle.
That's the first movie. Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
you're bringing it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently Goldstein converted from Judaism to Christianity. He's very like proud of his new Christian religion. And he's like, for us Christians, the tree is very important to us. And then he starts making all these stereotypical jokes about like Christians and Jewish people. And he says now that he's converted, he makes terrible investments and it doesn't bother him in the slightest. and that was just like one of many.
And these cameos are played by David Krumholtz and Eddie K. Thomas. Eddie K. Thomas being in American Pie, who went after Stifler's mom, if you remember that guy. David Krumholtz has been in movies and TV shows as well. They were in the first movie. They're back.
Yeah. So then while they're sitting there eating, they see a tree at the church across the street and they decide they should steal the tree from the church. But there's a Christmas performance going on. And this is the church with the midnight mass that Maria and her family are going to. So they go stand in front. They try to get in for the midnight mass. They can't because they don't have a ticket or whatever. And they almost get busted because Maria's niece sees them and is like, there's Uncle Harold. But before they can get caught, they leave. And she goes and taps on someone else's shoulder. And he turns around and it's a different Asian dude. And then her dad goes, oh, it's okay, honey. I thought they all looked the same too, to the little girl.
Throw in a lot of more stereotypes, racial stereotypes.
So many stereotypes.
So they go to this alleyway of the church and then they start like talking about what they're going to do. And this like stage manager opens a door and assumes they're the drummer boy, like background characters of the performance. So she's like, smoke breaks over. And she like pulls them in. They change into their drummer outfits and they end up on stage in the background of this performance. And Neil Patrick Harris is the lead. Yeah.
So he's like a main character in the first movie and the second movie. He's like a very essential part of the first movie.
Okay. Yeah. So he's the star of the show. There's the Rockettes and then there's the drummer boys. And that's what Harold and Kumar are. And so after the performance, we see Neil Patrick Harris hitting on a Rockette. And then Harold and Kumar are like, we're going to try to convince him to get us the tree. So when we see the Paps following Neil and his co-star and they are like coming out as gay apparently, but when they get in the dressing room they reveal they're actually not gay. It's all an act for publicity and Neil is like fiending for cocaine and he is, super into women. So this Rockette comes to the room and all the while Harold and Kumar are behind this partition in Neil Patrick Harris's dressing room and then this Rockette's there too. She comes to visit Neil Patrick Harris and his boyfriend or fake boyfriend leaves. So the Rockette is like talking to him and he's like, I'll just give you a massage. And she's like, oh, I don't have anything on under here. And he's like, oh, that's fine. Just girlfriends. Cause he's pretending like he's gay. And she's like, okay. So she like takes off her robe and then he starts giving her a massage. And then he basically starts to get like frisky with her and she like realizes she's like, I thought you were gay, and she gets hella pissed and then she runs out and the partition falls over and Harold and Kumar are there and Neil Patrick Harris is not surprised.
No, yeah, I mean he's not going to be surprised. Yeah, the first two movies, yeah, because they always show up in random places. Then after this, they're like, "What the fuck? How are you alive?" Because in the second movie, he gets shot from a whorehouse, like a little whorehouse. He's running out of it, and the madame has a double-barrel shotgun, and she's like, psh, psh, and then she like shoots him twice. So Neil Patrick Harris goes into this fucking elaborate ass story where he's like, "Yeah, I did die," and then he's like, "Well, I didn't remember that," and then he goes out into heaven, and then he's such a fucking like madman in heaven that they kick him back out into the world.
Because heaven is apparently like a sketchy ass nightclub and all the angels are topless women. And then Jesus comes to him and is like,
And that's Jake Johnson.
Like,
so Jake Johnson from New Girl.
Yeah. And so Jesus then calls his dad on the phone to complain about Neil Patrick Harris, who's getting a hand job by
and God's name is what?
Angels.
What was funny is God's name is like, hey, this is Scott. Like, Scott?
Yeah.
God's name is Scott.
Oh, I thought he said God. I didn't know he was saying Scott.
Oh, did he?
I thought he said God. I don't know if that's true.
I heard Scott.
No, I think he was just saying God. I think he was not
calling
God.
I was going to say Scott. Sup, Scott?
Okay. Definitely a little
weird, little racy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that far off what people say heaven is. Come on. It's not that far off. What do you mean, Jesus?
Oh, God.
I was watching
Scott.
YouTube videos. Scott said that there's women up there, so it's not that far off. Like they're wearing westernized clothing and underwear. I don't know what they're wearing up there. Sorry.
Okay, so eventually after
Jesus calls God and says like, yo, we got an 86, so we got to get this guy out of here.
Yeah. And that's how he comes back to life, basically. So then Neil finishes telling Harold and Kumar this story. And then eventually Neil says, okay, fine, you guys can have the tree and you can even take the waffle bot. So they get their tree and the waffle bot and they're like so excited.
And Wafflebot is like that character that's getting more and more screen time. And one of the funny things about Wafflebot in this scene was that Neil was just so mad at Wafflebot for coming out. And then Kumar really loved Wafflebot. He respected Wafflebot. He was talking to him so kindly to Wafflebot. And Wafflebot like loved that. It's like, I love you, Kumar. And Neil Patrick is just like, shut up. It just reminds me of how I talk to Alexa, being like, Alexa, just when she does something, she's not responding properly. I'm like, Alexa, just shut up, please. So,
but like Alexa the waffle bot is like the waffle bot is like the R2D2 of Harold and Kumar.
Wow.
Totally.
Wow. Yeah.
So anyway, so after all this, Harold and Kumar are like standing outside. They're getting ready to take the Christmas tree home. And then Kumar finds out that Vanessa was invited to Harold's Christmas party. And they start fighting about that. And in the meantime, the mob boss men catch up to them and basically kidnap them, and they take the waffle bot too. So they get tied to a pole by the mob bosses and they get gasoline poured on them, but then the mob bosses don't have a lighter. And the waffle bot is all the while watching from the car, like, I don't know,
like Terminator style
brain. Yeah. So the mob boss guys start fighting, and Harold and Kumar make them feel better. They like project their own friendship issues onto the mob boss guys and get them to kind of make up. But then the mob boss
that's a pretty recurring theme in the three movies. They're best friends, then they fight, then they're best friends, and they fight, and it's always Kumar being selfish, and Harold's like, "You're fucking selfish." So in this entire movie, the premise is that they haven't spoken in many, many months or even years. I think, like they fell out. So this is them reconnecting with these shenanigans. Like that's like they're not into each other, so they're like crying that they're about to die, and then they like get the mob guys to cry as well, and then our hero arrives.
Yeah, but the mob bosses don't change their mind about killing them. They still want to kill them.
Yeah.
But then the waffle bot comes to the rescue, because the waffle bot basically then sprays hot grease on one of the mob boss guys, and he hits the other one with his serving arm, and then his batteries start getting really low, and they're like, no, we need your help to untie us. So quickly, before his batteries really die, he sprays hot syrup on the rope to burn the rope, and
he quote unquote sprays it from his bottom parts,
sprayer,
nether regions.
Whatever nether regions that robot has. But it sprays
I don't think
it
and
burns.
Even say it. I think the listeners already knew what it
Picture
was.
Picture it, everybody.
Yeah. So then they're like, yay, we're free. Kumar jumps off the pole, and then Harold tries to move, and Harold realizes he's stuck there, because just like the little kid in A Christmas Story whose tongue got stuck to the pole, Harold's dick got stuck to the pole, and they need to unstick it because he can't pull it off. And so
then Kumar's like, I'm gonna spit on it, and Harold's like, don't spit on my dick. I'm sorry, Imran. Imran's like, this is not what I signed up for.
And then he's
What
like,
did
I'm
you
gonna
think
piss
After
on it.
Dark meant?
And then he was like, I'm gonna piss
Yeah.
on it.
He's
It's
like,
like,
"I'm gonna
no,
piss on
don't piss on my.
Yeah. And so then he's like, okay, these mob bosses left some hot coffee here. I'll pour that on it. So he's like, okay. So he pours it on there. Obviously, Harold gets free,
Burns his
but he
dick.
does get burned. Yeah. So then that's finally
Maria.
that's yeah. Yeah.
There is
Especially
a
since he's trying to have a
reason.
baby.
There's a reason why I watched this on my iPhone in my room versus like on my big screen or somewhere else.
Dude,
Like
you're right.
100%.
I had to watch this in like 15 different sittings because Sophie, I was like, oh, Sophie, are you gonna go take a shower? She's like, yeah, I'm gonna go take a shower. I was like, okay, I have 21 minutes to get through. Like, I had to like time it while she wasn't in the room.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I warned you guys.
So meanwhile, when this stuff is happening, Todd and Adrian are still stuck in the closet with his baby. And Adrian starts to like try to quietly eat chips, but it's like really loud. And then the baby starts crashing and, fiending for more cocaine. And the baby even says like, I want more cocaine or something. It's really freaking weird. And the mob boss eventually hears them. And so he's like coming to open the door. And he opens the door of the closet and the baby runs out before he can
Zooms out.
see that there's
No,
like
we're
two
talking
other
about
guys
like
there.
Speedy Gonzalez or Sonic the Hedgehog zooming underneath his legs and then go pshoom, straight to the table.
It looked like a horror movie kind of thing, like Chucky
Yeah.
moving really fucking fast.
Yeah. And she like jumps on the table and she's like looking at him and he's like looking at her. And then Todd comes up behind him and hits him over the head with an umbrella, which does nothing. So he turns around annoyed, points a gun at Todd. And then Adrian comes up from behind him and hits him on the head with a shake weight. And that's how the mob boss like crashes.
Just gets defeated out of all that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is just so ridiculous and random.
Yeah.
The entire time, Adrian's in tidy whities as well. Ever since he came downstairs from the Virgin.
Oh,
yeah. He's in his little tidy whities the entire movie.
Yeah. And then Todd goes to pick up Ava from the table. She puts a mint in her mouth. And
they're not mints.
No, I think she knows.
Go ahead.
Dude.
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
Go ahead. Tell us what they are.
Well, they told us what they were in the beginning because the mob boss was toying around with the bag. It was a bag of ecstasy that was in there.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of round pills there.
Yeah. So the baby does ecstasy now, third drug of the night, and Todd does one too. So then we go back to Kumar and Harold. And so Kumar and Harold are kind of chilling. They feel like they have things sorted out. And Kumar tells Harold that Vanessa's pregnant. Okay. So then they start chatting and they kind of get mad. And then somehow they shoot a gun. Why did he shoot a gun?
He says that anytime you shoot the gun in the air, somebody shows up. There's nobody around. It's dead of night. So like, you make some noise with the shotgun, somebody will show up. And so that's why he did it. I was like, okay, all right, boss, go ahead. And he shoots the gun, and plopping out of the sky with a head injury is Santa Claus. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Santa's real.
Real Santa Claus, by the way.
Real Santa, not Pat.
The one that was flying with his reindeer.
Yeah.
Yeah. He fell out of the sky with all his reindeer and his sleigh and everything. So Kumar, because of his medical training, he can do surgery on Santa Claus.
And that's a recurring theme as well. So he saves people. He like saves this dude's life in the first movie as well. The guy's like bleeding out, and then Kumar's just like he got shot and he saved the guy. And the guy's like, thank you so much for saving me. So Ryan Reynolds in the first movie, and then he looks at him and he's like, excuse me, but do you guys have any medicinal marijuana? Because the first movie's from like 2003 or 2004 or something, and there was no legal weed. Even California wasn't legal. So he's asking him, he's like looking for medicinal marijuana in the hospital, and then he saves like this dude's life, just like he's about to now.
Yeah. So Santa is on the ground with a bullet wound in his head, and he does a surgery, takes a bullet out, sews Santa's head up, and Santa's totally fine. He's a little woozy, but he's fine. And Santa's like, thank you guys so much. And they're like apologizing and everything. Santa's like, no, I know you two are really good guys. And then he's like, do you want to ride? And they're like, okay. So they take a ride on Santa's sleigh through the sky to go home.
That to me was like classic
immaculate.
highness. Just classic.
So then they
Wow.
ask Santa, they're like, hey, can we get a Christmas tree? And he's like, no, I already got you a gift. So they find out that Santa is the one that gave them that big blunt from the beginning of the movie. And that the whole thing was for them to get back together and become friends again. And
Positive
so,
ass
You've
movie.
always been good boys.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, I don't know about that.
So, yeah, Harold gets to his house. He walks in, but right before he goes in, he tells Kumar that Kumar will be a good dad. And Kumar's like, thanks. And so then Harold goes inside, and his father-in-law is awake and waiting for him to ask about the tree. That, what'd you do with my tree? And his father-in-law tells him, you ruined Christmas. So he tells his father-in-law, you ruined Christmas. Do you know what happened to me tonight? I introduced a baby to cocaine. I almost got killed by the Ukrainian mafia, and I almost got my dick ripped off, and I shot Santa in the fucking face. And he says, yes, he's real. And his father-in-law like turns to him, and he basically like respects Harold for standing up to him. And he's like, I've been waiting for you to stand up for me, and like I finally respect you.
Yeah. Like he's
Yeah.
been wanting him to do it. And
Good
that's like a
old-
recurring theme as well.
Good old
in the other
resolution.
movies. Yeah, he repeats what they go through. Like in the first movie, he's like, we almost got killed here, and then we almost got assaulted here, and then we almost fucking died here. And then Harold is just bitching, right? Like, so that's what he did to his father-in-law at the end of this movie as well.
Yeah.
Recap.
So then we go back to Kumar is climbing into Vanessa's window, and he wakes her up. He says, I don't want to wake up your parents, so I came through the window. Which, is there some backstory here of why she still lives with her parents?
Because they broke up, I think she went back to her parents' house.
Oh, okay. So
No
he
backstory
tells
there.
her, yeah. So he tells her he's like really excited about having a baby with her, and he'll get his medical job back, and he's even going to quit weed for the baby. And she's all happy and all that. And then she's like, okay, don't quit weed, but next time they give you a drug test, use my pee. And then they like get all excited. And then he's like, come here and have sex with me before you get all fat on me or something.
Movie
And then,
so ridiculous.
yeah. And then we cut back to Maria and Harold. And Maria apparently is pregnant too. It's a miracle. And then another miracle, they run down the stairs. There's a nice Christmas tree in their home too. And apparently Santa's bloody hat in the corner. So it's like the Colombian cartel relatives killed Santa for the tree, I guess.
Yeah, or Santa's hat was bloody. They showed it earlier when they fixed his face, so maybe it fell off.
Oh.
That one I didn't know.
Oh.
But then because the guy that I referenced in the beginning of the episode with the one leg out of prison, he's like, it's a miracle, and he lets go of his
Crutch.
and
Oh,
he
yeah.
falls down- and he falls down the stairs. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
So I don't know if they killed him, but they might have.
Yeah.
I would
don't
like
know.
to think, my imagination likes to think that he did come in there. He just like fell. It just fell off his head. That's all.
That's
don't
actually
need
what
Santa.
I thought. I was like,
I don't
it's
need
a
Santa to
leave-
die.
like a leave behind. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a leave behind. That's what I took it as.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So Harold and his whole family, they wear their 3D glasses and they're watching a movie, reaching out to like the confetti falling in the movie, and they're like enjoying Christmas. The waffle bot is like
3D
rolling
3D
around
confetti,
making people
by the way.
waffles. Yeah. So then they cut back to Todd and his baby, and Todd and his baby are just like super high still. They're just in another
Ecstasy.
world.
They're in ecstasy.
They're in ecstasy land. And then Harold and Kumar together smoke a blunt on his doorstep because Kumar came back to Harold's for Christmas. And that's it. They have themselves a merry little Christmas. And so should you.
So
Ho, ho, ho.
positive vibes, positive message. Family, friendship, love, babies. Everybody gets what they want. Like, it's pretty fucking positive Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So,
Ron is
Just-
overall, what did you guys think of
Just
this
a lot
movie?
of shenanigans. I thought it's actually a really good movie and a cool story. There's definitely like a crap ton of weird ass shenanigans, but it's really entertaining.
These movies are hilarious. Like, I wonder what in 03 compelled someone to be like, we need a Desi guy and an Asian guy, and we need to put them in the most raunchy film, because the first film is just as raunchy. Like, there's
Yeah.
whatever we saw today, we saw in the first movie 20 years ago. So it's pretty wild this got greenlit by a major studio.
That's what I'm trying to
They were
figure
making
out.
comedies back then, so it makes sense. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out is my boyish humor then and now. I'm watching it, and I don't know, when I was in my 20s growing
You're
up.
not the demographic anymore.
I'm not.
Like you're
maybe
you're
maybe
not
back
the
then.
demographic.
Maybe when it
Yeah.
came out, I probably would have still watched it. But
Yeah.
Aw.
yeah,
Imran's like,
yeah.
wow, people grow up. They don't watch these NC-17 movies
I was like,
anymore.
wow.
I mean, I wasn't laughing out loud either.
You
guys.
couldn't be laughing
Yeah.
out loud. Sophie would have been like, what are you laughing at?
No, I told her. No, I was watching it in my closet last night, like on my phone while she was going to sleep, because if I watch it in my bedroom, it's right next to her bedroom and she can hear it.
Oh,
So
that's
you
hilarious.
were like Adrian
yeah.
and Todd in the closet with the baby.
Trapped in the
Like,
closet.
Trapped in the oh.
One last thing about Adrian and Todd is that they bicker throughout the movie. So in the beginning, they're like, no, he's my friend. No, he's my friend. Like, it's hilarious. Like these guys like really want to be Harold and Kumar's friends.
But I just wanted to circle back to what Sameem was saying about the Asian and the Desi guy in this comedy. So it sounds like what you're saying, Sameem, is that this movie was way ahead of its time and like an amazing piece of art for the diversity and inclusion of people in Hollywood.
That's like literally what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know, we don't get to see often dicks getting frozen on a pole like Christmas Story style.
Poles?
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Tip to tip.
But then,
that was definitely tip to tip.
But then when Harold was like, okay, I'll get the coffee mug. Harold was slapping the pole up top. His hands weren't getting like stuck at all. I was like, well, the pole is not.
Yeah.
Chris's dick is on it. Yeah.
Obviously, I'm picking holes in it.
But you know, I don't want to get into like graphic things, but the skin on your hands is very different than the skin on your tongue and the skin on your nether regions, you know?
On that note,
should we jingle out of
here?
I'm going to take my leave.
Bell out of here.
Anyway, if you're going to watch this movie,
special jingle for you guys.
This is Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas. It came out in 2011. It is on Tubi for free. If you're an adult and you have family, watch it in the closet like Sameem. And we'll take our leave. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Until the next episode, let's go. Let's jingle out. Let's jingle out. Jingle all
Merry
the way.
Christmas, everyone.
Where's my hand?
Merry Christmas.
This episode was produced, edited, marketed, and created by Shubnam, Captain Ron, and Sameem of Chai After Dark, LLC, in association with Great Pods.